All right, good morning. We'll come right back to that, okay? So today I wanted to welcome you back to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason and I'll be your host for this morning. If you choose to stick around, if you don't choose to stick around, someone else will likely be your host. I can't promise anything. But here we go. Here's the old tuning fork. Here's the old Martin DX2E. Oh yeah, baby. Woo! Yeah. And then here's all of these are affiliate links in the video. So if you need a Martin DX2E, go ahead and grab it. If you need a metronome, go ahead and grab it. If you need a tuning fork A440, go ahead and grab it. If you need Martin phosphor bronze guitar strings, go ahead and grab those too. And last but not least, while I scroll around here, if you need a Page capo, you can go ahead and grab it as well. I forget, I think the People Still Decide is available on Spotify today. It just dropped, so I think I wrote the song in a capo 2, but I don't think I played the song in capo 2. I'll have to go take a look about it. You can find the results of the Epstein files in that song, so go listen. I know, I'm just about as close to politics as I'm going to get, and that's about it. We'll continue moving on. So welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason, your host. Again, if you choose to stick around, you'll notice I'm tuning my guitar without an electronic tuner, or a quartz tuner, or whatever it is. I just like to tune my guitar manually in the mornings and keep it maintained that way over the day. It's a little slower, but it's part of the warm-up for me. Yeah, that's the A. We're in business. The trick is, once I tune the A to the reference tone, I never touch it again, unless I check it at the end of the tuning process and discover that it's moved. Then I'll touch it and adjust it. Yeah, great. Ooh. Perfect. All right, so now we're tuned up. Get the breathing going so that we activate ourselves, our whole bodies, our whole person. And thank you for being here this morning to better yourself as a human, as a guitarist, and as a family member, a community member, just a generally better person. I just want to be a better person than I was yesterday. And that means a lot of things for me personally. And this is an opportunity, while I set my intention for this morning's ritual, this is an opportunity for me to kind of pair every day, the beginning of my day, well, not exactly the beginning of my day, but the beginning of my guitar day, I pair my guitar day, or my person, with my goal set. Here's my reminder. So as I set my intention for this morning's ritual, you too can go ahead and set your own intention for this morning's ritual. And if you don't have your guitar, go grab it, because we're starting now. We'll be here for an hour, so you have plenty of time. No worries. We're starting with the usual, fingers 3 and 4 on frets 10 and 12, and we'll get our guitar fingers working. 1 at 4 attacks per beat, 60 beats per minute. 1 E and a 2. There it is. You don't have to count. You just, you can make grunts. You can make rhythmic noises. It doesn't, your peers don't really need to understand what you're up to. Just as long as the band knows when it's time to kick off, you know, that's all we need to know. Just be there on time and ready to play when we hit at 7, you know, we hit at 9:30, and just be there ready to hit, you know, on time. I think those things have been, I remember going to these Fish concerts and you know, other rock concerts where the talent sort of arrive, they start late, and it generates a lot of excitement with the audience. And maybe it's a similar kind of excitement with you know, like at a place like the Calm concert, you know, for like a Keith Jarrett jazz pianist presentation, but it's a little different energy and people respond differently if you're running behind. 1 E and a 2, here we go. Fingers 2 and 3 are off and running. So I'm really enjoying the emails that I'm getting and the texts. Not many of you have a text number for me, but I certainly do appreciate those of you who use it occasionally, and the hello is it's a wonderful thing to hear unexpectedly. But as we move through this morning, I wanted to think about how to create melodic voice. So that's my focus for this morning, is to how to create melodic voice. Where does it come from? I have some feedback on some of these. You know how I've been doing this riff cast? I've been doing a riff cast where I just kind of like riff on whatever guitar thought I might have for the day and then publish it. And the last riff cast that I did is, it's a podcast, you know, just a short podcast. Fingers 1 and 2 on 10 and 12, and here we go. I got a little bit of feedback saying that the guitar doesn't actually lead you, and of course the title, you know, the thumbnail, the title image for the video is let the guitar lead you. So I wanted to rethink that and just open that discussion for myself this morning. And of course the guitar doesn't lead you the same way a fork doesn't make me fat, right? But there's a partnership there that happens. The pencil doesn't answer the wrong answers on a test, or, you know, whatever the asinine, you know, comparisons are. But the guitar is, you know, I guess it would be classified an inanimate object. So like, while you leave it sitting, it doesn't do anything on its own. It needs something to act upon it to do anything, right? Boy, these finger warm-ups have just gone, they're blowing right by this morning. So let's continue. Let's keep the incentive and keep the show running. So fingers 2 and 4 on frets 9 and 12. Here we go. 4 attacks per beat. If you're just jumping on, go ahead and grab your guitar. We'll be here. We're 4 attacks per beat and at 60 beats per minute. We're just doing the morning ritual for guitar growth. It's a super simple approach to life, and just growth. So just simple, just keeping it simple. But I am here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the benefit of my own person and my own guitar practice. Hopefully we'll see you down the road. And you do join us, and you do comment on these videos. And if you do have questions about anything that's coming up, so like I wanted to say, later on in this video, if you do stick around, you might like what's coming up, because we're talking about where does melody come from, and how do guitar players interpret melody by letting the guitar lead. Let's go ahead and talk about letting the guitar lead. Let's play it out move by move. And it's nothing complicated. It could be your first time working on melody, but we're going to break it down and demystify it. So let's take a look at that today, a little bit later. So fingers 1 and 3 on frets 9 and 12. Here we go. Yeah, so if you stick around, we're talking about how to break down melody, but right now we're deep into the, we're eyeball deep into the warm-up, the morning ritual warm-up. And I would encourage you to join if you want. It's free. There's no fee, there's no anything. I'm here for the entire year of 2025 doing this every weekday morning for 1 hour. 1 hour, that's 260 hours and of sitting around being a warming up guitar practitioner. Yeah, it's wild stuff, isn't it? All right, fingers 1 and 4 stretching back to frets 7 and 12. 1 and 2. You know what to do. But really, I'm not doing this for views. It's not. I mean, the views might be great, and hopefully it's helpful to someone out there. I know there are several someones out there that this is helping, and I hope. And then. But hopefully it's helping you. It's not about the stream, the numbers of viewers. It's about the viewers that are here are the ones who are supposed to be here. Do you know what I mean? This isn't designed to be, we're not throwing flashbangs out there saying, hey, look at me over here. And we're not doing that. Although, well, that's definitely, I'm feeling that. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling that a little bit right here this morning. And we're going to correct that in just one moment. One more pass here. Actually, that looks like we're almost a quarter of, so that's almost time to stretch. Another 2 minutes and we'll give it a stretch, okay? Fingers 2 and 3 and 4 on 10, 11, and 12. Go. Yeah, and evenly distributed and musical notes. It's really important to try and make this a musical experience and have it be as musical as possible. And sometimes it just, the mind just does not want to slow down enough to connect with the guitar. But you can overcome that busyness, that mental busyness, and create a learning environment for yourself if you just focus on breathing for a little while. The nose in and the mouth out. And sometimes we hold tension where we don't even expect we're holding tension on our bodies. So this is a good opportunity for us to observe any of that tension that's being held in unexpected places and release that. Breathing helps us to reconnect with those pieces or those functional parts of our bodies that we could benefit from having on the team, right? So here we go. Frets 10, 11, and 12, fingers 1, 2, and 3. Here we go. 1C and the 2C and the putting on my shoesies. Today is episode 140, and so there's that. I don't want to take you off your game, but how is your thumb doing? Is your thumb in the back of the guitar neck? Is the face of your thumb sort of back there, in the lower, upper middle of the back of the guitar neck? And it's funny, watch my thumb now. You can see the tip of my thumb up here. Every time my hand changes position, my whole hand, including my thumb, changes position. All indexes at the same exact moment. It all moves as a unit, right? climb back to position 9. We'll go ahead and stretch for just a moment. I feel like a lot of that burn is dissipated now, but I know it's time to stretch. Yeah, 747. So we'll go ahead and stretch, and you can see Tweety right here. You can see the bird's face in the guitar, in the back of the guitar. So, you know, consequently, call the guitar Tweety. I've never named a guitar before, so this is a first for me. And I'll go ahead and get the, you can see I have a metal chain hanging out here. It's my T-ball. And just gonna get the cover off this thing so I can sip on it next round. It's a little bit warm right now. We'll leave the tea ball in there. We have some green tea with jasmine in it. And here I am doing that over my guitar, which is, you know, a genius idea. All right, here we go with fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. We're pulling you can pull the thumb back, get the thumb workout. I do yoga in the mornings and in the evenings, you know. Hopefully when I wake up in the morning, and then in the evening before I hit the rack at night, I do just get the yoga in. So I stretch all of these limbs multiple times a day. But when I'm active on the guitar, I always stretch my hands I try to stretch my arms and hands and shoulders every 15 minutes. And you can hear the click at 60 beats per minute on the metronome, that click that you hear. That's, I count 16 of those, or 4 bars of common time. And then I change from that position to the reciprocal of that, or I invert that position so that I can stretch all pieces of the forearm and the wrists and the carpals and metacarpals or tarsals and the phalanges or whatever they are over there. I want to make sure that I stretch all of those things. While I'm doing this, I'm still engaged in breath work. And if I leave you hanging there for a few minutes, just know that I'm coming back. I'm just counting quietly and breathing quietly. Yeah. Pushing my arms back to try to undo the hunch that I'm doing over the guitar. Get these arms rolling around, the shoulder mobility, thumbs pointing down, thumbs rolling all the way back up and over as far as I can get them to go. And I'm keeping my pelvis, my back straight, and my abdominal wall solid as I can, okay? So that will help to maintain or mitigate any long-term exposure to risky positions on the guitar. All right. Oh, I'm feeling like I've got a new set of hands and arms now. Yeah, anyone who's been watching my Ted Green chord chemistry series You know that I do these warm-ups so that I might stretch my fingers to be more, you know, agile as I approach Mr. Green's chord reference chart. So we're currently in the middle of the book. It's a long series. It's a really long series where we're walking work page by page, word by word, and chord by chord, example by example through the book. So just sort of, it's a guide. You know, think of it's not like the Inferno, like Dante's Inferno, where it's just a companionship walking through the gates of wherever. But we're walking through the mind, you know, of one of the guitar greats, you know, arguably one of the guitar greats on the planet, and we're doing this, walking through this together. So you can find that Ted Green chord chemistry series right here on my channel. It's I don't know, 60 video. I don't know how many videos. There's a lot, but if you wanted to go through that with me, you're more than welcome. Hopefully you are. I'm sure some of you are. I know you are. Yeah, we're still in tune, so we can go ahead and continue on. 1 E and 2. So let's go ahead and do fingers 1 and 2 and 4 on 9, 10, and 12. Here we go. You know what to do. And we might just use, you know, 16th note or, you know, 6 attacks per beat and 5 attacks per beat, just to kind of wake ourselves up a little bit. So right now we're at 4. If I do 5, I've got to think, I've got to shift my step, and then if I do 6, I've got to shift another step. And there's 4 again, and then there's 5 coming up, and then 6. It's kind of hard to discern which one's which if you're just sort of passively listening, but practicing those multiple subdivisions in the practice environment or the warm-up environment leads to assimilation of those rhythms into the real-time improvisational playing of the guitar player. So those are wonderful, wonderful exercises. I would dare say 3 wonderfuls. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And some of you might know the references I'm making there, but maybe not. If you do, email me at growth@jasoncareyguitar. All right, and we'll talk to you there, brother. So 1, 3, and 4. Here we go. 1, a 2 E and a T E and a go. 1, 3, 4, 9, 11, and 12. And then we're going down 1 position. We're going all the way back down to position number 1. Yes, we are. Yeah, it's a wild ride. You know, it's definitely. Let's try some more of that 5, and as we start to ascend, let's go 5 attacks per beat and then 6 attacks per beat. I'll try to give you a heads up in case you wanted to participate alongside Uncle Jason. Here's 5s, 6, 5s, 6s, and then 4s again, and then 6s, 4s, and then 5s. There we go. Yeah, it gets exciting. It really does. You know, changing that rhythmic stuff around gets very exciting. So those are great. So now what we're doing is we're coming back to becoming a 4-fingered guitar player. Now, how's that grab you? Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So bring your guitar, jump on board. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a E and a 4. And there's some really fun stuff coming up. If you have ever questioned, if you're here and you're a guitar player and you've ever questioned, like, where does melody come from? And what happens when someone says, hey, let the guitar guide you, man? What happens when they say that kind of stuff, that kind of sort of seemingly asinine commentary? Well, you know, each true story, each one of us carries a unique packet of experience along from, that we've accumulated from along the way, right? But the way, there's only one way, right? And some of us, some of us know what I'm talking about. And along the way, it's, I might have practiced fewer hours on the guitar than you did, which means that you might have the, higher capacity to move a lot more notes and play a lot more notes over a shorter period of time than I do. But it's not really about the technical facility, but it is about the technical facility when we want to let the guitar move us. I mean, there are certain basic things that we, might want to have in play while we start asking the guitar to be the driver. We want to let the guitar drive for a little while. The guitar works sort of in concert or in partnership with our ethos, our logos, our connection to the universe, I guess. And whether or not we can tap into that time and again, or what do you call it? What's called the muse, or whatever. You can tap into the thing that's above you, or Carlos Santana talks about it. Duke Ellington writes about it. Kurt Rosenwinkel, John Coltrane lived it. Chris Potter, these great horn players. They're connected with something other than themselves in the moment, right? So, what do we mean when we say let the guitar drive? Or let the guitar lead you? As in my last riff cast, I have a podcast here on YouTube. You can check it out. It's pretty fun, but it's we're going to explore melody, and this is a warm up, so we'll keep warming up, and let me do that, and then I'll keep talking to you as we go. So fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and stretch 4. So 9, 10, 11, and 13. 1 E and a 2 Z, and you know what to do. There we go. So this is a warm-up period, so there's not a whole lot of room for me or interest for me to depart from the warm-up modality. For me, warm-up means do the things that condition, the wake-up call. And practice, for me, means to, sort of move from the known into the unknown. And while that does happen sometimes in the warm-up environment for me, moving from the known to the unknown is more closely associated with the learning process. And I'm talking about the wake-up process. So there's the difference between the warm-up and the practice for me. The warm-up is wake up, the practice is, learning or moving from the known to the unknown. And then acquiring that, putting that in your known pocket, and then go and get some more unknown stuff, put it in your known pocket. So I used to call this a specialization. So what it more closely resembles, though, the end of my warm-up cycle, I like to bridge the gap from where I am warming up with my breathing and the chromatic chromatic style finger workouts, what I do is I spend the last 10 or 15 minutes kind of transitioning my mind, moving from the wake up or the warm up period into the moving from the known to the unknown period. So I'm moving from wake up to, or warm up to practice, like active practice, that kind of thinking. There's just a shift in mindset there. All right, fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4, same 4 fingers, but this time we'll just do the kickstand. So we're on 8, 10, 11, and 12. Let's go ahead and start that now. 1 E and 2, you know what to do. And this is a place where you two, not you two, Bono and the Edge, those Adam, those guys, not those guys, but where you as well could show up and warm up. And I know there are several of you who show up every day to warm up, and for that, I'm grateful and thankful that you're playing along with us here at Jason Carey Guitar, right here on YouTube. So this morning ritual guitar for guitar growth is brought to you by Pinecone Records, actually, and I just released a new single called "The People Still Decide." So if you haven't heard it yet, I'd love it if you go and hear it somewhere. It's dropping today everywhere on the, every online outlet where you go and gather up your musical interests. So, I'm getting a notification from YouTube right here on my other rig. I wonder what that's about. Probably somebody hacked my account. And it's no longer me, it's now my AI avatar here with you. All right, let's take another break. So we got through all of the 4-finger stuff that we're going to get through today. All of the just basic things, just so we can say we've warmed up our fingers, we've woken up our fingers, we've woken up our breath, we've given attention due to our good posture, our good strong back, and our good strong abdominal areas. We're caring for our body right now as we speak by continuing to enjoy and improve our awareness of breath and improve our awareness of the importance of maintaining our physical systems so that we can do whatever we might want to do on the guitar. Part of why I warm up every day is I really like it to have, I love to be able to have access to whatever it is I might want to do, whenever it is I might want to do it. And this is, I found, even though I would teach for, in the previous life, I would teach in one of my studios, 8 hours a day, 7, 8, 9 hours a day, and for 7 days a week sometimes. And then I would feel like I would always show up at least an hour early, and I don't know, none of my other colleagues would show up early because they're all probably already warmed up, I guess. But I used to like to warm up every day, and I guess it turns out I still like to warm up every day, and I like the process. I really enjoy the process of opening up the day with a meditation, sort of a guitar formulated or guitar partnered meditation, I guess, not medication, but meditation. And as funny and as hokey as that might sound to some, it's like playing in the sandbox with your Tonka trucks, right? Or your, I don't know if you were playing your sandbox with your pink pail or your pail and your scoop, and you're building a little sandcastle or something. It's the same thing for me. It's like it's a lot like doing the things that are familiar, like building with blocks or whatever. Doing the familiar things and using those familiar things and deepening your experience with the familiar things, such as like hiking or walking your favorite trail or your favorite street, whether it's an asphalt paved sidewalk or it's a gravel sidewalk or a brick sidewalk, or maybe it's actually an asphalt sidewalk stamped to look like it's brick and painted to look as though it's brick, but most of the paint's worn off and it looks sort of, who knows what it looks like anymore. Looks like not maintained area, like people lost interest in it or something. Grass growing up through the cracks in the pavement, But just becoming more and more familiar with the thing that you're really interested in. I guess it's called life, I guess. It must be life. So the warm-up can be a number of different things for a number of different people at a number of different times in a lifetime. But for me at the moment, the warm-up offers a place where you can sort of wake up to your guitar day as a guitar practitioner. So that's what I'm doing every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the entire year of 2025. So this is episode, if you're just tuning in, this is episode 140. If you stick around for another 10 minutes, this is going to give us access to how to create melody out of seemingly nothing, right? And I'm going to show you how I would do it and how I have read and seen and been in the schoolroom, in the schoolhouse, and witnessed others sort of do it and talk about it. It's sort of a big. We could probably go on for 3-4 hours about just the simple part of formulating a melody or letting it come to you or through you. But I'm just going to simplify it in the last 10 minutes. Okay, so stick around. And it does take a little time. It's going to seem like I'm oversimplifying things, but I am going to do this for probably a solid 10 minutes so that the more I do this, the more I, like it's like if you were a diver, commercial diver, you don't just jump in the water and be a commercial diver. You don't just go to the bottom of the ocean and be a commercial, a deep water diver, and you've got your hat, your money maker on, and your brass hat, and you don't just do that, right? It takes a little bit of warming up to the situation, But when you've done it enough, maybe your warm-up situation requires less time or whatever. But anyway, we're going to continue on the warm-up track for the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so. So if you have it in you to stick around, please do. You might not be disappointed. I won't say you won't be disappointed, but you might not be disappointed. I know it's a valuable thing, and I know what it means for some to be able to access melody on demand and then think of the melody and play the melody in real time on their instrument of choice, or their primary instrument, I guess we'd call it. And we're going to just sort of discuss that. Or maybe it will be more like me modeling it, and you can observe how I might be doing it. And then you can determine how you can translate that into your own guitar life, into your own guitar practice. But this is just one of those, it's not for everybody things. But people it's for know what to do with it. Now, yesterday we did another exercise where we did the 1, 2, 3, 4s, but then we introduced a string skip between the low E and the D string, and then the G and the high E string. So you can see this is a good exercise for me to do because I don't do it enough. So if you're still here, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and smash the like button, double tap the viewport. I just see somewhat, we went from 16 likes to 15 likes, so, you know, I don't know, maybe, I feel like I have to be sort of overtly negative or something, do something overtly like unattractive for somebody to actually withhold a like. Isn't that something? Just funny stuff. I mean, it's not emotionally disturbing to me at all, you know, I could care less, but it's, I mean, I care, but I just wanted to understand that situation a little bit. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E, here we go. This is a good one for sure for me. There it is. We'll call that good. And there's another one I'd like to do, probably 2 more. I have time to run through these pentatonic systems. So if you'd like to join me, this is another thing that we do. Position number 1, this is pattern 1. Pattern 2 coming right up here. There it is. And the next pattern. The next pattern. And the final pattern. So you stuck it out. I see some stuck it out. If you're still here, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Or smash that like button, double tap the screen. That'd be super appreciative. All right, one more time for the stretch, and that will be it for the session. And we'll go ahead and get that done now, and stretching away. So if you're here, if you're still sticking around, excuse me, we're coming out of this stretch and talking about how melody is created through, we're going to study chant. So I don't know if you've ever studied or listened to, we'll call it Gregorian chant, only because it was related to the period of Pope Gregory, right? Gregorian chant. But this is before music became polymorphic or whatever it is, poly something or other, polytonal, not tonal, not polychordal, someone's got it. Is it polyphonic? Monophonic? I don't know. Maybe it's something we should consult the Harvard dictionary, the Harvard Musical Dictionary. Before we started with polyphonic music, there was this thing where you'd play one line or one line, right? There would be one melody, no harmony, no Dominus Christe or Corpus Christe, or you're singing the line one note from the scale at a time, and then eventually we figured out that if we sing two notes at a time, that could be very interesting and pleasing to the ears if we tune it correctly. So we're going back to the time where we're singing monophonic and just one melody, right? So we're thinking super simple, and most of those we're using the pentatonic system, right? We just blasted through that pentatonic scale warm up. So now we find ourselves in a place to actually use those pentatonic systems right now, and we're going slowly, so don't worry. And we'll start, yes, we will. We'll start in open position. Yeah, that's the key. That's a real kicker right here. So we're going to start in open position, right? Just as soon as I get some of this green tea in me here. Yeah, let's start with something that we already know and something that we could benefit from if we don't know, and we learn it right now. Super simple. Open low E, fret 3 on the low E, open A, this bad boy right here, and then fret 2 on the A, open D, fret 2 on the D, open G, and who doesn't like the open G? I mean, it's just like perfect on the guitar. It's a perfect location. Fret 2 on the G, open B, and fret 3 on the B. You can use whichever fingers you like because this is all super slow. Yeah, just super slow. And again, we're transitioning from the warm-up mindset to the guitar practitioner mindset. Now we're moving from wake up to let's get up and start moving into the unknown. That's the shift for me. And then if we practice the scale going up, we also need to practice it going down. So we'll start here on G note, fret 3 on the E, open high E, fret 3 on the B, open B, and fret 2 on the G string A, open G, fret 2 on the D string, or E, open D, B, or fret 2 on the A, and then open A, fret 3 on the low E string, and then open low E. We're going to start with G being the home bass. So this should sound major or happy. All right, let's examine what happens if we play this linearly. Got it. And then we turn around and play it backwards. Good. Then we do the same exact thing, G, A, B, D, E, G, G, on the top 3 strings, and then the same reverse. All right, so now we've practiced and ascended and descended the G major pentatonic scale in open position, which is going to be useful for us in the next 7 minutes here. Oh, I did something different. It took a little turn. That's where it starts to get really exciting, is when we start to take little turns. I know that the scale... Right, let me just put this in perspective. Your ear didn't expect that A flat, right? Your ear tonicized, even though it didn't know the next note in the melody. Your ear tonicized that G note. And so we can create musical surprise by either just not going to the expected area. We could create alternate pathways or deceptive pathways, and then we can eventually hold the listener's ear to the point where we find the root note again together, 3 hours later in a Wagnerian opera. All right, maybe we never find the root note together again. Who knows? It is a possibility. But for now, let's just descend major scale, or the major pentatonic scale. I'm just thinking about, I'm going to tell you a story, just a very simple story about what I did over this morning, right? And I'm only going to use one string, and I'm going to make sure I know the story and I can reduce the story into its simplest terms. And then I'm going to play I'm going to tell you that story I'm going to let the guitar not guide me. I'm guiding the guitar still, right? Now, what I can do is start to add additional notes to that story. And then I could, if I feel like I need another word to help express the story more fully, I'll go ahead and add one more note. See where I'm going with this? It's super simple to play melody. We don't need to speed around. We don't need to put on our little, rubber climbing shoes or little ballet slippers and climb up this, 5.15D route, we could just climb up a, go for a nice hike and still get the same enjoyment, a similar level of enjoyment for some of us. So it's but creating melody is not, it's no joke. Like we think about melodic shape, we think about, the one note samba or whatever, where the note doesn't change a whole, the shape of the melody doesn't change a whole lot. Now we're changing the shape of the melody contour. Maybe we just don't go back to the G note right away. If we don't go back yet. Return back to the G note, we've accomplished our objective. Eventually we do come home, right? All right, that's it for today. I really appreciate you being here, sharing your time or spending your seat time down with me here at Jason Carey Guitar, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning, good Lord willing. And until we at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I'm here all year long in 2025. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And until we meet again, I wish you happy picking.